Alright, let's try this once again, guys. I do apologize for this. There's a couple things that could be causing this. One is more likely than the other, but we won't break that up just because we don't want to bring attention to it. So, it's going to be Team CAZ to close things out here to bring things up to 5-0 now. And so far, just dominating things. They did end up taking the gun round. Then again, I do apologize for missing that. Internet inconsistencies. Could be a server overload through the service I'm using, but it also could be something else. I don't believe it's the something else, however, based on the way that it's been working for me. So if it continues to happen, I'm just going to end up dropping the VPN that I'm using. For the sake of the stream's consistency. Because I normally don't have to stream it. So for Revival here, they're going to look to finally strike back now that they get the guns into their hands for this round. But so far, Team CAZ holding strong. That's going to be Itzmy, though. Finding a nice headshot over here to take down dephh. And now these guys looking to work their way in, but so far not having made all that much map progress, apologies, in terms of getting themselves into the site. dOBRIY gets some good damage on a ROM and brings him down to 2 HP, but not going to be enough. And no, it's not Wi-Fi, guys. Not Wi-Fi. I would not be that stupid. So Kryptix is going to find a kill for the CT. Finally, another one comes out for the T's here as Undo is going to be able to pick one up over here on a jakem. But we take a look at a couple more of these guys. Rom as well, still very low, but he's in a pretty safe position. You don't normally go for the check onto this one. So the rest of Revival, they are going to head sort of into his part of the map, but it's actually somewhat surprising that we didn't see at least one more person coming in over there. I think with the aggression that came at a Palace and the fact that it worked and they picked up a kill, these final two from CAZ did have some sort of intel to suggest it was going to be coming to the A site, but this is not the case. But they're moving in time. Rom spotted these guys in the apartments, but Rom really needs the support for Mage Infiltration right now because they're going to work their way back in. This Maw is going to come down. Amazingly, Rom's able to find this kill, but the nade comes in for balblna, and he is able to finally catch that trade there once again. That's going to take down Rom. Now it's just Undo. He will be able to get this plant going because there's just enough time left on the clock for him to do this. And again, CAZ are actually hanging back pretty nicely, but they're going to slowly work for this flank on him. Asian Infiltration just comes in. He finds that op shot, shuts it down, and Team CAZ will pick up the 6th round. But these ones, not nearly as clean as not nearly as clean as some of the other ones here that we've been seeing on the previous map specifically. They're sitting at 6-0 right now, but like I said, the money situation is not all that great for them. Asian Infiltration sitting at about 7K right now, so he's really the only player that's sitting above an amount that will allow him to go for a rebuy, and he needs that for his own personal use. So it's not really looking so good for these guys. The Revival pick up one round and they're immediately going to be broken. But the big thing still is that, yeah, they have a 6-round lead. So Revival, they need to find a way to get themselves on to, they need to find a way to get themselves onto the board here before they can really start to do anything. So we can see there again, they go over the full AK buy. They are able to get themselves through with another good one. They've got mollies and all this sitting behind it here as well, but they need to do a lot more work in order to pick up a round here, as they've still been struggling to get themselves onto the site and close out some of these rounds, and this carries over a lot from what we saw in the previous map, too. The retake is going to come in, but def a little bit of a mistake there as he gets some damage on the Kryptix, but jakem having a little bit better luck. He's going to move in, get some damage on Itzmy, but now look at Undo coming in, finds one headshot, quickly traded out by dephh, thankfully. Now 3 left alive as the actual take is going to begin on this B site. This puts the pressure onto Rom. One jumps completely over, they haven't even noticed him. So now he's going to put the bomb on the floor. It is going to be traded by balblna, but he's wasted a lot of time with this now. Now jakem's sitting in here too. He's going to be able to pop right in as soon as he hears that bomb getting planted. They're pushing back in. He's in the middle of the site. Bit of a mistake to go out for the peek against it though, as dOBRIY's going to be able to shut him down. balblna finding another one, so the T's may yet have a chance to do this, but still they need to find a place to plant this bomb, and with the CTs being an ever-looming threat, they need to make sure they have good coverage here. They force them out. They're getting impatient though. You can see dephh and Asian getting ready to jump right back out there. That flash doesn't really do all that much, so thankfully they don't follow up behind it, but at the same time, I think the members of CAZ do realize now exactly what is going on. balblna's going to try to sneak himself into a good spot to finish things off, and he did to some degree have those guys lined up, but that is not going to be the case there. It finally gets shut down by CAZ, and now they're sitting ahead, and once again now we're going to have to see the pause coming in from Revival. This is going to be the tac pause for this map. And again, just in terms of what could be needed here, I mean, we talk all this thing about strategy and whatnot, but to be honest, it's just the fact that we're not seeing enough kills coming out here. They've tried to fake it quite a few times, and the fakes are working out to some degree, but when it comes down to the clutch so often here, the members of Revival are just not able to find the appropriate kills when they are needed. A good example right here, too, is just the fact that they had an open site. They could have gone for the plant. Yes, it would have been risky to some degree, but I could go over to the B site and show it to you, but we won't. But there's like, there's a couple good positions that we could have seen the Revival players put themselves into. They had full control of that B site, so that situation could have been played out a lot better. We could have had somebody played back over there by the arches, back over on Cat. If you just have them sitting behind there, they're not overexposed. You can have the bomb carrier covered there because you're going to see when they work their way back out. And at the same time as well there, if the bomb carrier goes down, you still have a good position to waste a lot of time from. Yes, you'll have to 1v2 it, but it's a lot better than just waiting, hoping that CAZ are going to peek back out there. CAZ did eventually peek, but even then, they didn't really seem ready for it because it was a very small peek, and they just didn't really seem to be able to react to it very well. So, some initial pressure coming back in here towards the A site, and they're just going to commit to it fully here. Now the rotations come back in through connector. There's dephh already finding 2 kills, and 8 comes in. deph's going to be a little bit out in the open, but Kryptix is here to help out now too. He's going to find 1 kill, but now 3 traded out here from the members of Revival. That evens it out to a 2-on-2. dOBRIY finding another one here too. It's all in the hands of jakem, but jakem has one of these guys down to 12 HP, so he's just going to sit back and relax here now. But there's FANAT ROCKA jumping up on top of the ticket box. He's going to be able to finish off jakem, and finally now the guy's on Revival. And it's so odd too because they've been trying all these complex strategies with fakes and late pushes and whatnot, but just, you know, the simplest things often work the best, unfortunately. And, well, fortunately, more than unfortunately, but the simplest things often work the best here, and Revival just directly walk into that A site, not even really using that many nades or anything. They just go right in, they get control of the site, and CAZ caught completely off guard for this. And it's so odd too because this is what also worked previously too. If we hark back over to Inferno, they were having so much trouble, and then finally they just decided to start pushing. They just started to start walking into the sites, and it worked out great. They picked up 1 or 2 rounds off of that one. It happened a lot later in the half, so obviously again happening a little bit earlier this time is going to be great for Revival, because if they continue to do things such as this and can come out on top with it, then it's going to be great for trying to build up a better round score here. But at the same time, this is going to be an eco round for CAZ, so we don't really expect them to do too much. We don't really expect them to do all of that much here in the long run, if things, all things considered here. So for CAZ, once again now, these guys are basically have to spread themselves as much as possible. Unfortunately, without really having any rifles or anything, it's going to be a little bit rough. But we can see their Asian infiltration will spot some of this push. Kryptix as well gets himself an open push back over here towards the window, as balblna will leave it unexposed. So he's able to come out there and find this frag. They put it into a 5-on-3, and now these guys over here on CAZ, they've got 2 rifles in the pockets too, so they can definitely work something with it. But FANAT ROCKA still alive with the op. There's going to be 2 kills for him. jakem, along with Asian infiltration, both going to end up going down. Undo gets a nice little surprise there as Kryptix tries to pop out and surprise him, but that just does not go the way he wanted it to at all. And I think for these final 2, especially on dephh, because he does still have that AK in his hands, he is going to end up calling for the save now. So they'll fall back. Rob will stick around and try and find a kill, but he'll be quickly eliminated here by dOBRIY. And now Undo has spotted dephh, but I think he's gotten a little bit too far away for this to happen. So again, Revival picking up that second point. CAZ, you know, they get 7 in a row, but as we were discussing before, they are only able to really keep some of these rounds in, but they only keep about between 2 to 3 players alive. So their economy was never really growing in quite a few of these rounds. And for those that did, it was almost immediately brought back down on the next one because it was very close. Revival was just missing that little bit of an oomph to get them over the edge and clutch out the round at the end of the day. So finally they do it, and again, the CT economy really is fickle as hell. So unfortunately, just that one round is going to force them onto an eco. It's only going to be 1 though. It's not going to be the double save. So they just go right into another buy round, and they've got everything they need behind it too. So this is going to be another attempt to stop it and retake the lead. And already there's Asian infiltration catching the first op shot there, takes down dOBRIY. Undo, great reaction on the jakem as jakem falls short a little bit, but the aggressive push just under Tetris there too. That's going to allow dephh to pick up an additional frag. He takes down itsmy, and now this puts it into a 4-on-3 with, again, Revival. Another big issue that they were suffering from before and are going to have to go back to now is that no map control really being gained here. They get middle, but middle's really only a staging point to get more control. You have to be able to either work your way through connector or through cat to really make that mid take impactful enough to where you could work with it. Yes, it keeps the illusion alive as to which site you're going to go, but in a 2-on-4, they can easily just split up the defenses 2-2. There is going to be FANAT ROCKA. He finds 1 kill, works his way into ladder looking for another one inside a window room. We can see just sort of jiggle peeking it there, going up and down the ladder to see if he can catch anything inside. But for the time being, this won't be the case. There's no reason for CAZ to peek out against him. Now we know he's got the op. And we even see Asian infiltration up inside the apartments. He's going to catch some damage on him. Now he's down to 27. He's trying to figure out where he should play this, but overall it's just a very hard play. And yeah, he's going to jump into the window, but dephh is now sitting there waiting for it because he did leave it undefended. So he's going to be able to get himself in there. Now CAZ pick up their 8th point. Revival back down. They're going to be reset here. They've got a couple players floating at points where they could go for like a Tech 9 round or something like that, but I think with the way that this has been played out, they're going to just call for this one to be a save, and this will be a big save, I think, too. They were taking a long time to buy, but finally they do buy, and they buy 1 P250, and apparently that needed an extra like 5 seconds at the end of the round, so because of this, they kind of threw this round away, to be honest. I mean, it's not that they would have had a good chance to do it anyway, but I mean, now that they wait for like 5 extra seconds to go for this buy, they just let CAZ walk into the palace uncontested, and they can just get into positions to counter that. So there's CAZ with a very easy round, and that's great for their economy, because now they can build it back up. We can see the amounts coming back in here. 6.1 on Asian, 3.7 on Rom, 5.6 on Kryptix, and 3.7 on jakem, which is going to be a good building block here. If they do lose, you're still going to be looking in the mid to high 4Ks on some of those lower guys. I think you're only going to have one player that really can't afford to, at the very least, go for a FAMAS armor buy-up. So now, again, Revival really being brought back down. They absolutely have to try to pick up these next couple, because we already saw the problems that infiltrated themselves back over onto the CT side, back over on Inferno as well, and I imagine some of those same problems are just going to happenstance right here. So if they don't fix them, or if they can't pick up enough T rounds here, then CAZ might just be able to run away with this map once again, heading into the second half. They'll take the set 2-0, and they'll get that second and final spot in the grand finals. So now we can see Revival, once again, taking their time with this one, trying to investigate every avenue they have. Already having lost one player is not going to be the best start to this, but Itzmai's patience is paid off now. He's going to find a kill on a Kryptix. Infiltration, looking for the shot back over here, and he's going to find it onto Itzmai. So that's traded back out, but the real take is going to begin over here on B. CAZ is set up for this, though, at least with 2 of the 3 of the players they still have left in play. Rom hugging the corner, nobody checking it as of yet, so he gets 1 kill. Undo comes outside of the drop, nobody to find that trade as of yet, and Rom picks up a 2nd kill, too. He's going to drop FANAT ROCKA, so now it's just Undo, finding the 1 headshot, but there's Infiltration, who was rotated back in. Revival, after that fake began, play that. This is often the case too. They play very slowly just for the reason of caution. They don't move into the site quickly enough, and that just allows CAZ to rotate now. So they get all 3 players in there. They're able to hold it, and Asian finds that final kill as well. So now their money's going to be in a fairly good spot. Like I said, again, dropping 3 players is not going to do them any favors, but with Asian sitting at 9K and Rom at 6K, that should be enough to make it through another round. And Revival are completely broken once again. They've got to save up here. So this will be probably the 11th point coming out from CAZ, based on the way we saw that last eco round go for the members of Revival. Apologies. So they're going to work their way in. Kryptix playing up close and personal, though. Ready for it. He will run out of ammo, so he finally does get destroyed, but 3 kills have already been done. There's the 4th from dephh, and this run's a wash. There you have it. Asian Infiltration gets the final one, ends it very quickly indeed. And now Team CAZ will be sitting at this 11th point here, too. As Revival, man, just don't know what to throw at the wall here at this point. They've tried so many different strategies, so many different ways to play this out, and the only one that's really worked so far for them has been just that direct take onto the A site. I think it works out great. That's the thing, too, is it's just, you know, like I said, it's normally a thing you only expect to have happen, like, once or twice, and yes, that's very true, but it's worked. And to be honest, Team CAZ, like right now, they're not ready for a direct take. If all 5 of these guys just walked into the A site right now, they did a little bit delay, like wait like 5 to 10 seconds beyond the normal point you would expect it, and this could be brilliant for them. They are going to go for it here, but they're too slow with it. CAZ are given enough time to rotate in, so it's just 3 kills back to back to back once again. And jakem should be able to find dOBRIY. There we go, he takes him down. And you're also going to have Asian finding one of the final kills as well. That eliminates pretty much everybody. And Team CAZ, once again, they're going to be able to pick up a 12th point. Probably looking likely to find 13 here, too, because going into the final round, Revival should be able to get a decent amount of AKs out, but utility-wise, they're going to be lacking. They get 4 smokes, no mollies, no HEs, very limited amount of flashes. They've only got 4 flashes for the entire team. So those smokes is probably just going to be a big smoke up on one of these sites and trying to work for control of it. So the lineup for it now. 3 of the members from Revival are going to make some noise over here, but looking at this again, CAZ just know that they've got this in the bag at this point. They're getting super aggressive to find all this info. Kryptix shuts down Undo. And what's interesting about this, too, is that they don't jerk rotate just as of yet. They're not going to move themselves off the site, but look at that Rom shutting down the 2nd one there after jakem finds him. balblna takes him out. Now they're going to know this is a fake, but look, they've given away site control now. They've moved off. They thought it was all in on B because they saw 3 players moving in. They still don't know what's going on with those smokes either, so dOBRIY's going to move in. He'll get the plant. Now, this is round 14. This would have been great, because now they would have had money to get a full buy here in the 15th round. They could have done a full smoke setup on the A site, along with mollies and all that, too. But it's not. It's the 15th round, so getting the plant doesn't mean anything unless you can actually win the round, and that is not going to be happening at all. Asian Infiltration just shuts it back down. He's going to take out dOBRIY, and Team CAZ have an absolutely monster half here on their CT side, and they're going to win it out 13-12 now. And to be completely honest here, this should be a fairly simplistic second half for them. CAZ, all they're going to do is win the pistol, and they're basically going to win the map. as that would have to force Revival to go for a third round force up. If they don't, I mean, obviously they're going to do the second round force up because the third round force up on CT side never really allows you to get all that much, at least not as much as you would expect to have. But if they don't win that second round force up, or if they try to go for that third round force up but it's unsuccessful, that's basically going to be the game here, especially if CAZ pick it up. If Revival do find the pistol, then there is going to be a small chance for them to really bring their way back into this matchup, but overall the chances are going to be very, very slim indeed considering the way that this has gone. Like we said before, Revival, their T side is definitely better than their CT side, and with them only being able to find 2 rounds here on that T side, it just does not bode well. They were able to keep it somewhat close, but then they just let CAZ just run away with it from this point forward. So they got up to 13. I was expecting them to stop around the 9-point marker and for Revival to maybe get a 6-9.5 again, but like we said, they sort of lost their faith, it seemed, at a certain point. They were trying to do all these different setups and whatnot. So all this advanced stuff with faking and trying to work their way, trying to do these late pushes and whatnot, delaying things, but it just never really worked out, to be completely honest. CAZ always knew where it was being played from. It was either that or it was played far too slowly, and even when CAZ weren't aware of it, they were given plenty of time to rotate. Another big thing that happened a lot, too, is we never really saw Revival playing that much back over towards middle. So, oftentimes, yes, granted, middle can sort of be a double-edged sword, the fact that you can get it, and then you'll just be stuck there for the rest of the round because you can never make progress, but the good thing that it does is it keeps an illusion alive as to which site you're going to go for, especially if you're able to do your smoke work properly. You can smoke off the avenues, and then, you know, you're going to have to really try to take a guess on that CT side as to where exactly the take is going to be happening from, because there's all sorts of strategies that can evolve from a mid-take, and from this point forward, too, you're just going to have to evenly split your defenses because you don't know. Unlike if you hear noise in the apartments, like if you hear 5 people, footsteps in the apartments, okay, you know it's coming from the apartments. If you get aggressive and push inside of the T-ramp and you see like 3 people there, then okay, they're lined up here. If they fall back, then, you know, you have reasonable doubt to believe a couple different strategies are going to be happening here. But Revival just unfortunately weren't doing that all that much. They tried to play these very regular setups, and they consistently did that. They shied away from middle. They were doing it at the beginning of the half, but as they moved away from it more and more, we just saw CAZ as well picking up more and more rounds as well. And the only thing that worked was just that direct take on to A that they worked for a couple of times. So here we go. CAZ just going to go directly into the B site to start this round off. Already finding 2 kills on the way in here too. That's going to be dephh and Kryptix picking up 2 kills. FANAT ROCKA able to get a response, and ItsMy found a kill as well. He was eventually traded back down. And you've only got this one player here, but there's more on the way to try to defend things. Kryptix is going to be wide out in the open. balblna finding one too. It's all an Asian infiltration, but Revival will be able to pick up the pistol round at the very least. So we are going to see them keeping themselves alive for the time being, but they've got a long road to go. 10 rounds to tie it back up, along with 13 in order to win things here in the second half. It's going to have to be absolutely almost flawless from these guys if they want to close things out here and be able to win it and not take it into overtime. But CAZ, they want to look for a response right here on the second round. It's going to be the Tech 9 force up and a whole lot of utility sitting behind it too. Complete buyout from these guys, so they mean business right now. They want to make sure this happens. And, well, we'll see just how well that goes, because they line up for a direct take onto A. 4 coming in from the T-ramp. And also, you're going to have 1 more coming in from the Palace there, too. Currently, only 1 natural defender here from Revival sitting back over by Ticket Box. You got more connectors, so they can easily rotate back in or just get themselves into good spots. And you can see they've already done so. There's going to be FANAT ROCKA picking 1 up. So far, the T's have found 1 kill. And unfortunately, this take, although it will get them a plant, it's not going to be very strong at the end of the day. Revival just dispatching players left and right. CAZ not able to find those kills. The smoke's kind of biting them in the butt, as it does leave a lot of obscurity alive. And we do see the members of Revival just closing it out there easily with the defuse. But the important thing is that they get the plan here. It doesn't really warrant itself. With all things considered, because CAZ fully bought out for this round. But at the very least, they do get something, and it's not just completely wasted attempt to buy up a Tech 9. So CAZ, they are not going to be in the best situation economically right now, just because of the fact that, again, they do drop that round, but this is part of the course. This is generally what we expect, and now this is actually a round such as that specifically is actually going to be really good for Revival. That was something that we saw on their CT side, which is a much less in economy comparatively to what we saw from CAZ in the last map, and this round's going to be no exception, of course. You know, 5 being shut down almost in sequence there, so everybody from CAZ is going to get pretty much floored, and now we see them being brought up here to their 5th round, but this is also where we're going to see the buy coming out from CAZ. KAZ. So this is where things get dangerous. This could immediately just end the half, basically right here too. Revival, they've got a good buy, and like we said, they've saved a lot of money. 8,300 to undo. dOBRIY, I think it's 6,000. A couple more of these guys are going to be a little bit lower because they have had to rebuy utility and whatnot that was used on the site take. But if KAZ can shut it down here, that'll put them at the 14. Revival will buy out one more time, and after that, they'll be at match point with the members of Revival on Nico. But they get aggressive here. It's to find the kill, but he stays here for far too long. He's going to end up getting dropped by dephh on the trade. Now they drop him. They did find the bomb in middle, but again, like we said before, middle, there's a whole lot of things that can happen after you take control of middle. So finding a player in middle, that doesn't allow for any sort of rotationary work. They can maybe move into the apartments because of how many people they've seen, but beyond this, it's basically the only thing they're going to be able to do. So now for Team KAZ. These guys are going to start to fall back a little bit over here and work their way into the A site instead. They've got that decoy over there in the back B halls, but nothing else really being present there. So if Revival wanted to push into it, they could certainly do so and investigate what is going on. And we can see that the balblna jumping up and down, but this work leaves so many people off of that A site. Now the op shot comes in from Asian, though. It's gonna miss, so they don't find their opening mark. And Revival, they're gonna rotate in now. I believe they do realize this happened. They'll still leave one here. There's dOBRIY finding the sandwich. Now they've got to get themselves in here because deph's gonna come in and find that trade on the dOBRIY. The take begins essentially, but now we've got Undo sitting back over here. He's gonna look for the trade with the FAMAS. dephh, after finding the kill in the FANAT ROCKA as well there, that's gonna be Undo catching one over onto dephh. More coming in. balblna's rolling in with the P90, and here we go. He's unloading onto these guys now. It's just jakem, and he's gonna get dropped by balblna as well. That P90 does some work at the end of the round. And Revival, they're going to keep themselves alive here. Very important round being won. It extends the half by a little bit longer and keeps Revival in the game. But now for these guys, once again, here they'll go for the buy-up. And again, still danger zone in terms of the economy. The only exception for this one is going to be Undo at 11k. That honestly might be enough to buy up for at least, you know, balblna is a 4k, so he's got enough for himself. But the rest of these guys are broke if they lose this round. So they're going to need a little bit of help with that. Thankfully, I think at the very least he's got enough for 4 rifles. At least 4 FAMASs, he should have enough for that. But it is going to be stretching the dollars a little bit on his own end of this. But look at this nade that comes in now for Revival. Does damage to 4 to 5. At the lowest, about 30 damage. The highest, almost 60 damage being done here to these guys. So this is going to start things off very well. FANAT ROCKA goes crazy to start this round off. Asian Infiltration and Kryptix both going to be falling down. dOBRIY coming in to find another one. FANAT ROCKA finally going to miss the shot, but balblna's here with the P90, so it's all good. jakem comes in, does at least 1 kill, but then It's My responds to that very quickly. And Revival are going to find a 7th point. Now, on the way back, making that progress, as we said before. They needed 10 rounds. Now they're only going to be 6 rounds away here from tying things up. So they've gotten their way into this one, but this is also going to be another buy round from KAZ. And again, the money's actually been established a little bit better here too from the side of Revival. It's slowly building itself up, so just the 1 round victory to put KAZ into 14 is not going to be the end game situation just as of yet here, because of the fact that KAZ is, Revival is still going to have that money to go for another buy. They're still going to be in a good spot to keep buying up here and keep their buys consistent and just keep themselves in this game, economically speaking. So not necessarily doomed as of yet, and with KAZ messing up one of their smokes here, this is not going to be the best situation for them either. The take begins once again. We'll see how well they can hold things off here as they work their way into the site, and I just completely messed up that camera work. FANAT ROCKA finds the first stop shot, and to be honest, some of the same issues KAZ is suffering from here too. Their take's a little bit slow. They move in, balblna finds a shot. We can't see the response of Asian Infiltration. That pop comes out. dOBRIY's allowed to find yet another kill here, and then all this flank comes out from It's My. Just gonna come in and shut it down. It's not even called either. So It's My comes in. Now they're gonna get a second op for free too. So these guys will set up really well. Revival bringing themselves back into this game. Now just 5 points behind KAZ, and KAZ once again, they might just go for another buy because their money's in an okay position here. They can probably get the AKs. Maybe one player having to go for a Tech 9 or a Galil buy, but that'll be Asian for this time. Everybody else is able to get the AK and Arma behind it, and at least 4 to 5 will have good utility, keeping themselves in this matchup for the time being at 13 to 8. And KAZ once again here now, waiting to shift themselves into a position where they can push for it, but It's My, with him getting aggressive, now the play's been found out. They know what's happening here. They can fall back. I don't think they realize that there's been a take that started on A, so there's going to be a bit of a wild goose chase. Asian, very quiet about this. He can spot these players, but he hasn't taken shots on anybody too. He's just going to wait for one to move in. A little bit unfortunate because, what? Where is Undo? Undo hasn't even realized. Thankfully, someone else does, but that could have been a lot bigger too if they didn't spot him inside the market. Asian's been found out. Now the bomb falls back here after they've lost Roma initially. That rotation's coming, but look at Asian infiltration! Just gonna shut down 2 of these players. He's driven a wedge between. This wasn't even planned, and it works out great because now he's completely wedged off. That rotation for the B side, it can't come in. It's got to redirect itself through middle here, and Jakem's got the coverage sitting back over here on the connector, so they can't come in through connector right now. dephh finds another kill here, and they just struck this round back. They're gonna take this one too. That was great. That works out perfectly for Team CAZ. There was no way that was planned. Asian infiltration, just a spur of the moment decision, walks in. For some reason, whoever he was chasing at the time, I think it was, if I remember correctly, it was Itzmy, just chasing Itzmy completely off the A site, never fires at him once. He makes his way all the way into market before he's finally spotted, and then inside a market, he kills 2 players to hold off that rotation. There's one more still sitting in B. He doesn't want to try to challenge that after he just took out 2 of his teammates. So now he has to rotate all the way through mid, and then they've just got jakem to cover the connector, along with one other player too. dephh was watching out for that, so they already had A control at that point. So really great calls and really great reactionary play that comes out there from CAZ. It works out fine, and now they pick up a 14th point here, but they're not in the clear just as of yet. Revival still has money to go from a buy, as we're seeing here now. The take is already beginning. The trade starting off here as well here with CAZ picking up 2, Revival trading it back with 1. Leaving 4 alive here from CAZ as they are going to rotate back in to go for the take on the A site. Revival still not really sure if this is coming into this site just as of yet. So they do leave FANAT ROCKA back over here inside of the window room. They've got balblna sitting on the B site too, and he's going to get support from FANAT ROCKA, but nothing's coming in there, man. All this take is happening over here onto the A site right now. They're slowly getting ready to move back into there. And Undo, sitting underneath the platform, is going to have to pull off a big play to hold things off. As if he goes down, that's going to be a 2-on-4 retake for the members of Revival, with FANAT ROCKA still being in play. We've seen some amazing plays from FANAT ROCKA before, but that kind of a situation might end up being a little bit too hard for these guys to play out. So Undu's going to hear this now. He calls for the rotation of FANAT, but FANAT's going to miss his opening shot. But out comes Undu, tries to play it aggressively, does not play well for him at all. But now FANAT ROCKA is able to jump out, and actually that's only going to lag Asian infiltration, actually. Looked like a shot hit him dead on, but that's not the case. He survives that encounter. He's going to be able to put the bomb down now. Revival trying to rotate in, but it is this 2-on-4 that we fear was going to happen. They get another smoke further up here, too. So the members of Revival cannot see anything that's going on here. They have to try to sneak their way back in. balblna finding 1, gets traded out by dephh from Sandwich. FANAT ROCKA is going to look for that trade, but he can't find it. And dephh is just going to pick up the final 2 kills here. CAZ at match point. Revival had a good run of trying to make this comeback happen, but now they're going to be out of cash once again. They'll force it up here, but not everybody's even going to have rifles at this point. dOBRIY has to sit back, and he has to go for an upgraded pistol with armor. Same thing for Itzmy. Undo, FANAT ROCKA, and balblna, they can get rifles, but for most of them, it's very limited utility. 4 smokes, or 3 smokes, actually, for the entire team. They've got 1 flash on every player, 1 HE grenade on Itzmy, but that's it. That's all they've got. So they're going to try to play this aggressively. Infiltration spots it, though, so he's going to fall back before they actually comes into any fruition. And we can see, too, the T-ramp players will slow things down a little bit. balblna catches 1 from inside of the, or just outside, actually, of the apartments here. jakem's going to look for the trade now, armed up with a P90. But at the same time here, pushing up forward, too, is going to be FANAT ROCKA. Looking for more of this action. We do have jakem getting flanked, so I imagine he's going to go back down here in just a second. Taking some hits, but he's able to turn back around. Finds 1 kill, but just behind him here. balblna not able to find that kill, and jakem just executes upon it here. So that puts it into the 2-on-3. They have put the bomb onto the floor, and they're still holding things back over here by the T-ramp, too. But that's going to be Asian infiltration again, finding a shot. And now it's just on dOBRIY. Trying to hold off this game now at this point. 47 HP. Working against 2 players that have 4 and 5 HP, looking at Rom and jakem respectively, but Asian infiltration also has that up. He's looking for this peak exactly. He's just going to try to wait things out, and that bomb now is slowly going to creep its way over here into the A site. dOBRIY trying to be very, very patient with this play, looking for the clutch, but he is slowly getting flanked here by jakem as well. The big question is going to be if dOBRIY spots this flank quickly enough when it does come into play, as now he's going to creep his way up here. Looking for the spot to see if they moved in as of yet. Pops out, but that's going to be it. Nope. jakem, 1 shot from the bullet of the P90, ends up closing it out. And the final score of this map and set is going to be 16-8. CAZ will take it 2-0 here. They're going to be heading on to the grand finals where they will face off against Enzo. And for Revival, they're going to be dropping down into the 3rd place match to play things off against the Vega Squadron. That game for the 3rd place title is going to be happening, guys, in about 15 minutes. Or apologies, no, about an hour and 15 minutes. So we've got a little bit of time before our next match. Be sure to stick around for it, though, and we'll be coming back in a little bit with that one. The grand final is going to be happening a little bit later on today, and we'll have more info on it as we do get closer. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you won't be sticking around for the next match, I hope you have enjoyed things, and like I said before, we'll be back in about an hour and 15 with the 3rd place match, which is going to be between loser of this match. It's going to be, apologies, Give me 1 second to double confirm things here. It is going to be Vega Squadron taking on Revival for the 3rd place title here at the Starlighter Pro Series 14. Be right back, folks, in a little bit, and we'll see you there.